Well, Eric, let's talk about some facts. Now that your dad has been convicted, now that he's been found guilty on 34 separate felony counts, what are you doing? You're out there on right-wing media spreading more lies and trying to rip our justice system apart. You're out there on Fox that has these fake chyrons saying Biden convicts Donald Trump and other false and defamatory things. And you're out there saying this case is just about NDAs and why would they do this? This is just about NDAs. NDAs are perfectly okay. But let's talk about facts, Eric. And it's ironic that you're whining over NDAs right now when your dad made your mom, Ivana, sign one in 1993 and give a statement to the press after a book called The Lost Tycoon came out, where she somewhat retracted what she said in an under oath deposition that the author got their hands on. I want to read that right now. But first, we should also talk about how ghoulish it is that your mom is buried in the back lot of Bedminster. And as the Daily Mail reports in an exclusive, Ivana Trump's cordoned-off grave is barely visible in completely overgrown area of Trump's 506-acre Bedminster, New Jersey golf course. How ghoulish that you were okay with this, Eric. How utterly despicable that after she fell from stairs, that is her final resting place. What kind of son are you, Eric? But let's go take a look. Want to talk about NDAs, Eric? Let's go talk about the statement that was made from Ivana in 1993 in response to the publication of the Lost Tycoon book. Here it is. The statement says the following. During a deposition given by me in connection with my matrimonial case, I stated that my husband had raped me. I wish to say that on one occasion, during 1989, Mr. Trump and I had marital relations in which he behaved very differently toward me than he had during our marriage. As a woman, I felt violated, as the love and tenderness which he normally exhibited toward me was absent. I referred to this as the R word, but I do not want my words to be interpreted in a literal or criminal sense. Any contrary conclusion would be an incorrect and most unfortunate interpretation of my statement, which I do not want to be interpreted in a speculative fashion, and I do not want the press or media to misconstrue any of the facts set forth above. All I wish is for this matter to be put to rest. This statement can only be released and used in its entirety. Approved, Ivana M. Trump, April 6, 1993. So you want to talk about NDAs, Eric? Here's what the author of The Lost Tycoon wrote. On April 7th, 1993, when the first printing of the book, The Lost Tycoon, was awaiting shipment, the publisher, who had met with Donald Trump and his lawyers on March 3rd, received the following communication from Donald Trump's lawyers. The statement by Ivana does not contradict or invalidate any information contained in this book, and it is included here only to give full expression to differing points of view on an important event. And here is what was stated in the book. Ivana Trump has been relaxing in the master bedroom of the Trump Tower triplex, thinking about the trip she will be going to take to Tahiti. The trip will not be just for a vacation. It has to do with the Donald's business. Lauren Ettes, the widow of the late Trump Gaming Division executive Mark Ettes, will be going with her. Ivana has been hoping the trip will help them get over the tragedy of the helicopter crash. Suddenly, according to Ivana, the Donald storms into the room. He is looking very angry, and he is cursing out loud. "Your effing doctor has ruined me," he screams. The Donald flings Ivana down onto the bed. Then he pins back her arms and grabs her by the hair. The part of her head he is grabbing corresponds to the spot on his head where the scalp reduction operation has been done. The Donald starts ripping out Ivana's hair by the handful as if he's trying to make her feel the same kind of pain that he is feeling. Ivana starts crying and screaming. The entire bed is being covered with strands of her golden locks. But the Donald does not finish. He rips off her clothes and unzips his pants. Then he jams his inside her for the first time in more than 16 months. Ivana is terrified. This is not lovemaking. This is not romantic sex. It is a violent assault. She later describes what the Donald is doing to her in no uncertain terms, according to the version she repeats to some of her closest confidants. He R-worded me. I'm just not saying it because of certain YouTube rules and guidelines. So that's why I'm not saying it. When the Donald finally pulls out, Ivana jumps from the bed. Then she runs upstairs to her mother's room. She locks the door and stays there crying for the rest of the night. The next morning, Ivana musters up the courage to return to the master bedroom. The Donald is there waiting for her. He leaves no doubt that he knows exactly what he did to her the night before. As she looks in horror at the ripped out hair scattered all over the bed, he glares at her and asks with a menacing casualness, "Does it hurt?" And then you saw Ivana's statement after dealing with Donald Trump and Donald Trump's lawyers, retracting that and otherwise being silenced. You saw that right there. So, Eric, that's who your dad is. And you seem to be following in those footsteps right there. Here, Eric talks about, and this is Eric Trump now, just happened after Donald Trump was criminally convicted. Eric Trump goes on right-wing media, and here he is whining about NDAs. Right, Eric? Play this clip.
People of this country are furious. No one believes that for $130,000, they shut down the DA's office for a 3-year period of time to investigate Donald Trump, that they shut down all of Lower Manhattan for literally 6 weeks with the largest NYPD presence you've ever seen, Jesse. You saw it. Thousands and thousands of cops, blocks and blocks, literally barricaded around that courthouse for $130,000 of personal money. Give me a break. No one believes it.
Well, of course, you don't want to be honest about what the case was actually about. Falsification of business records, how your dad was doing you-know-what with Stormy Daniels, and before that, Karen McDougal, while Melania had just given birth. By the way, here is, and you'll see on the Chiron there is what I was saying before, that it says Biden convinced Trump, then smirks. I mean, how ghoulish and ridiculous is this network known as Fox, that's the type of things that they're putting up there? Just so blatantly false. A grand jury indicted. This case was prosecuted by an independent prosecutor's office. A jury of Donald Trump's peers, who Donald Trump helped select, ultimately rendered the decision after 7 weeks after hearing all of the evidence. And this is what American media has become thanks to the Murdochs and thanks to Fox. Eric Trump, of course, needs to whine, though, as well, that this is somehow something to do with Hillary Clinton. Blame Hillary Clinton, of course. Here, play this clip.
Look how much money the Clintons have made and everybody else on the Democratic ticket in Washington, D.C. Hillary deleted 33,000 emails. She got away with absolute murder, along with a lot of other things, including the Clinton Foundation. And guess who they prosecute? They prosecute Donald Trump because he's...
By the way, as Eric Trump blames Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump's lawyer and spokesperson, Alina Habba, blames former President Barack Obama. So it's Hillary Clinton's fault, Barack Obama's fault. This is what Habba has to say. Play the clip.
And we've got a guy who literally can't walk, but is smart enough to smile and snark and make comments like, I didn't realize I was that powerful. You know, he probably doesn't, frankly, Laura. He probably doesn't, because it's probably not him. But there are definitely puppets, and those puppets are coming from the Biden administration and probably from prior administrations, and they are out to get Trump because they can't beat him. And that's obvious if you look at the crowds of people, if you look at the polls.
Yeah, Alina, are you saying that you believe former Obama administration officials are also somehow involved, at least in the background here?
Well, I find it a little bit odd that he never left Washington, and then when he did, he goes to beaches as well. I find it odd that him and the Clintons are flying on Air Force One with President Biden. I also find it odd that we have a president that can't speak or walk. But here we are. This is this America, and we cannot survive another 4 years of it.
Well, Alina, Michael Cohen had a message for Trump.
I remember a few weeks back as well, when Eric was talking about the NDAs, and he was saying, look, if NDAs are illegal, think about what's going to happen with Fox. Yeah, we know what happens with NDAs and Roger Ailes, the late Roger Ailes' behavior. And he did things that Donald Trump has been found civilly liable for. And Roger Ailes entered into settlement agreements. But here's Eric whining about the NDAs a few weeks back. Play this clip.
I mean, I'd say those aren't crimes anyway, even if he did say okay.
Of course they're not. NDAs are completely legal.
I mean, that's the point. I would say
NDAs are done
anyway.
every single day by every single organization. By the way, every organization, including this one, would go down in flames if an NDA was illegal, because every single organization, every single person has NDAs in that world.
What kind of a...
And here's Donald Trump saying that his NDAs are perfect. Play this clip.
You know, they go through all this stuff, and there was nothing done wrong. NDAs are perfect. And by the way, legal expenses, you know, we paid a legal expense. You know what it's marked down in the book says? A legal expense. Again, it's not marked down as construction. It's not marked down as sheetrock and cinder block. It's marked down as legal expense. You have a lawyer. You pay him a legal expense, and it's covered in the book as legal expense. I had nothing to do with it. The bookkeeper put it down as a legal expense. This is why I'm here, because we called it a legal expense, a payment to a lawyer.
I think it's interesting that now they're talking about NDAs, when by all appearances, it seems like they silenced Ivana. And by the way, that's just according to the book. I was just reading you what that book said, and the book used a deposition of Ivana, and that's what it was based on. You saw Ivana retracting, so I want to be clear that, you know, you can say that that's where things went, but I guess she signed something where she had to say that. That's what she wrote. That's what she said, and then they had to deal with Trump's lawyers. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers. Thanks to your support. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Midas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.